Welcome to our channel where we discuss finance and financial strategies designed to help you build strong financial foundations, stabilize your current finances, and support long-term financial growth toward financial freedom. If you need professional support with CFO services, account management, financial operations, and more, feel free to reach out to us. So today we're jumping into Chapter 1, No One is Crazy, from Morgan Housel's book, The Psychology of Money. So our mission today is to figure out why people do these seemingly crazy things with their money and why we probably shouldn't judge them for it.
Right, because what looks totally bizarre from the outside usually makes, perfect sense to the person actually doing it.
Okay, so let's start right at the foundation. Why do people's financial decisions look so utterly bizarre to us?
Well, it really just comes down to this one foundational statistic about our life experience. Your personal experiences with money make up maybe 0.0000001% of what has actually happened in the world.
Wow, that is a tiny fraction.
Right. But those exact same tiny, highly specific experiences, they dictate about 80% of how you think the world operates.
Wait, so you're saying almost our entire financial worldview is based on like a statistical rounding error of actual human history?
Yeah, exactly. Because what you experience firsthand is just infinitely more compelling to you than what you learn secondhand.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like, think about a person raised in severe poverty. They're going to view risk and reward through a lens of absolute survival. But the child of a wealthy investment banker views risk as an opportunity for aggressive growth.
So they aren't even looking at the same economy. It's like everyone is looking at just one single piece of a giant jigsaw puzzle, but we all just assume our one piece shows the entire picture.
That is a perfect analogy, yeah.
But, if we have access to history books and data, why can't smart people just learn from the past? Why rely on just your own limited life experience when we have all this historical information?
Because data just doesn't translate to emotion. There is this massive empathy gap. You can look at a spreadsheet that models the historical frequency of stock market crashes.
Right, the numbers are just there in black and white.
Exactly. But that spreadsheet cannot recreate the visceral fear of coming home, looking at your family, and wondering if your investments just wiped out your children's future.
Wow, yeah. It's like trying to explain a roller coaster using a physics equation. The math shows the drop, but doesn't make your stomach drop.
That is the perfect way to put it. A great real-world example of this is John F. Kennedy.
Oh, really? JFK?
Yeah, so when he was running for president, a reporter asked him what he remembered from the Great Depression, and Kennedy was totally honest. He said he had literally no firsthand knowledge of it.
Wait, none? During the biggest global economic collapse of the century?
None. His family had one of the greatest fortunes in the world. He literally admitted he didn't learn about the Depression until he read about it while studying at Harvard.
Oh man, I can see how that would become a massive political issue.
Oh, it was. People were terrified of putting someone in charge of the economy who had zero emotional understanding of that trauma.
So how did he overcome that empathy gap with the public?
Well, he bridged that gap through a different shared emotional experience, World War II. He had lived through that military trauma alongside the rest of the country. So it just goes to show that emotional scars, not spreadsheets, are what truly shape our worldview.
Okay, the JFK story makes sense for, a billionaire out of touch with average people. But what about the rest of us? Is there actual data showing that our early adult years permanently hardwire our financial strategies?
Oh, absolutely. Economists ran a 50-year study on the survey of consumer finances. They wanted to see if people make investment decisions based on their current goals and the actual market options available to them.
Which is what a completely rational person would do.
Right. But that's not what happens. The study proved that people's lifetime investment decisions are heavily anchored to the experiences they had during their early adult lives. It really just comes down to the dumb luck of your birth year.
The dumb luck of your birth year.
Yeah, take the stock market.
Yeah.
If you happen to be born in 1970, the stock market increased almost tenfold during your teens and 20s.
Okay, so your entire baseline for the stock market formed right when you were getting your first jobs is that it's this unstoppable wealth-building machine.
Exactly. But if you were born in 1950, the market went literally nowhere during those exact same formative years. Zero real growth.
So you have two groups of people separated purely by the chance of their birth year, going through life with completely opposite views on whether stocks are a safe investment.
Exactly. And you see the exact same thing with inflation.
Because losing your buying power feels like something everyone experiences equally, right?
Well, think about someone born in the 1960s. They watched inflation absolutely eat their paychecks alive during their youth, literally seeing prices triple while their wages stayed the same.
Right.
But someone born in 1990 barely experienced inflation at all during their formative years. To them, it was just a theoretical concept in an economics textbook.
It's wild to think we judge people's financial savviness when they're literally just playing the hand their specific birth decade dealt them.
It really is. It even dictates the success of financial legends, like the famed bond manager Bill Gross. His success coincided perfectly with a generational collapse in interest rates, which made bonds incredibly profitable.
So to his generation, bonds were wealth-generating machines, but to his father's generation, who endured higher inflation, they were wealth incinerators.
You nailed it.
Okay, so birth years create these totally different realities, but how does this apply to global or cultural differences? I mean, are there different realities happening at the exact same time?
Oh, definitely. Entirely different realities coexist simultaneously. Let's look at unemployment. During a major economic downturn, the national unemployment rate in America might be around 10%.
Okay, 10% is rough.
It is. But if you look at the data for young, uneducated minority demographic groups, it could be nearly 50%. While for older, educated demographics, it might only be 4%.
Wow, so one group is experiencing a mild recession, and another is living through an absolute localized depression, all at the exact same time.
Exactly. You cannot expect people from those vastly different groups to respond to financial risk the same way. There's this very striking story the author shares about Foxconn, the electronics manufacturer in China.
Oh, right. I've heard about the working conditions there.
Yeah, an American newspaper ran a story highlighting the sweatshop conditions, and American readers were understandably outraged.
Right, because based on our baseline of labor laws and minimum wage, those conditions are completely unacceptable.
Exactly, but the author points out a response from a Chinese worker. He noted that his aunt used to be a prostitute, and compared to that life, factory labor was a vast improvement.
Oh, wow.
He basically explained that the infrastructure and opportunities simply aren't the same as in the West. So what seems universally outrageous to one group makes perfect sense to another.
Because their baseline of normal is entirely different.
Precisely.
Which brings us back to that hook from the very beginning. If everyone's baseline is different, does that mean even the absolute worst financial decisions actually make logical sense to the person making them?
Yes. Every single decision people make with money checks the boxes they need checked in that specific moment. They tell themselves a story that justifies the action based on their lived reality.
So let's break down lottery tickets then. How does spending $400 a year on scratch-offs make any logical sense for someone who is completely broke?
Well, the lowest income households spend 4 times as much on lotto tickets as the highest income groups. And shockingly, the people spending $400 a year on tickets are often the exact same people who say they couldn't afford a $400 emergency.
Which seems completely irrational from the outside.
It does. But look at the subconscious reasoning. For people who feel permanently locked out of traditional wealth building, who can't afford college without debt, or buy homes in safe neighborhoods, a lottery ticket serves a distinct purpose.
What purpose is that?
It is the only time in their lives they can purchase a tangible dream of getting the lifestyle that wealthier people already take for granted.
Ah, so the math is terrible, but the emotional logic checks out perfectly based on their reality.
Exactly. They are paying for hope.
Framing it as buying hope makes the behavior totally understandable. But, I mean, if we all have our own hidden logic, why do we seem so bad at this collectively? Why is everyone making so many mistakes with debt and investing?
Because we completely fail to recognize how incredibly new the modern financial system actually is, we are all financial newbies.
What do you mean by newbies? Money's been around forever, right?
Money has, yeah.
Yeah.
But modern financial concepts like saving and investing are practically infants. Take retirement, for example. The idea of historical retirement is actually a huge myth.
Wait, really? People haven't always retired?
No, before World War II, most people simply worked until they died. Social Security payouts used to be tiny, and the widespread use of pensions is a massive exaggeration.
So when did modern retirement actually become a thing?
The idea that everyone deserves a dignified retirement and must fund it themselves only took hold in the 1980s.
The 1980s?
Yeah.
That means the entire concept of modern retirement is younger than a lot of the people currently trying to navigate it.
Exactly. And the tools we use are brand new, too. The 401k didn't exist until 1978. The Roth IRA was born in 1998.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize they were that recent.
Yeah, index funds are less than 50 years old, and consumer debt only exploded after World War II.
You know, I've got an analogy for this. Dogs were domesticated roughly 10,000 years ago, and yet they still occasionally retain wild behaviors from their wolf ancestors. We just accept that.
Right.
Yet humans have had barely 50 years to adapt to the modern financial system, and we expect ourselves to be perfectly rational and perfectly acclimated. No wonder we make mistakes. We're all just winging it.
That is the perfect way to summarize it. We are all just winging it. We all do crazy stuff with money because we are completely into this game.
Right.
We are driven by our own tiny, incredibly unique slices of life experience. No one is actually crazy. We are all just doing our best to survive our own reality.
Which leaves me with this final thought for you listening. If your entire financial strategy today is based on the limited economic environment you happen to grow up in, what invisible biases are you carrying right now that might be blinding you to the future of money? Take some time to think about your own financial puzzle piece.
That is a fantastic question to mull over.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, if you found this deep dive valuable, please make sure to like the video.
And definitely subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next part of this series.
Yes, and please share this content with your friends or family. Your support helps us continue the creation of more educational finance discussions like this one. See you in the next one.